Hello there. So today I just wanted to share some dreams that the Lord gave me. And I believe these dreams are basically Him trying to tell us and show us some technologies in the future. So in this dream, I basically saw myself standing somewhere. I wrote it down, but I was standing somewhere on a road and I was observing. So in this room, I was basically an observer, observing things that, are passing by and stuff like that. So I was standing by a road that was like a winding road, and there were tall grasses on either side of the road. It almost looked like it was a remote area, kinda. It wasn't a really remote area, but anyway, it looked like that. So at some point, I was on. I was in a place where it was like the like a T, like another road T bones the main road that I was on. I was standing and observing what was going on that road, and first I saw what looked like I'm going to show this on the screen, but it looked like a cargo container, like a box, like two big boxes. Like you see how 18 wheelers, that whole the trailer part. So I saw what looked like that, and there were two of them hitched together, but there is no engine part. Like there's no head. Like if you see an 18 wheeler, there is the head where the engine is, where the driver is. But this one that I saw had no head. There's no engine part. It's just a cargo section, and they were probably maybe a couple. Let's say a 20-foot container. So as you can see in the drawing, it's like two of them hitched together. Now these were autonomous. They were like autonomous cargo systems. They were, driving themselves on the road, and they were moving very fast. I observed them to really moving very fast and very smooth. It was almost like the road was a normal road. That's what I saw, but although they were on wheels, it almost felt as if they were kind of floating or like hovering, kind of. They had wheels, but they were that smooth. And anyway, they were moving really fast too. So I noticed. I'm looking on my phone because I'm kind of reading. I wrote it down, and I saw a number of these just pass by, and they passed by really fast and really smooth and autonomous. And as I observed, there was a bend in the road, and they didn't slow down to negotiate the bend. They were really moving fast. So I was even looking and saying, I was waiting to see these things just topple over from the centrifugal forces and going, very quickly in a bend. But guess what? The As it went over the bend, I mean through the bend in the road, the second trailer almost was being thrown off the road, but the first one smoothly just adjusted itself, and this thing just, it didn't topple over, it didn't fall off, it just drove by. And I saw a number of these just pass by the same way, and that was the first thing I saw. And then when they passed by, I decided to cross the road onto the other side of the road. And when I was doing that, I saw a something that looked like the next one that I'm showing. It looked like it was some strange transporting technology. It would just go, as you can see, it's like an industrial liquid transporting mechanism where the big cylindrical thing is on top, and then it sits on a pole which sits on this tiny something that was almost like it looked like a either three by four or 3 by 5 inches something like the size of a book. That thing is what was holding up that whole big cylindrical thing and transporting it. Now, what was beautiful, what was amazing about this technology is it would it was self-balancing. It was also moving. It could get on the road and off the road. Like it would go through grass. So let's say if the road went this way, it would just cut through and pass through the grass area and just join the road. In other words, it could travel through anywhere and go anywhere, pretty much. It was just, and it was self-balancing. I mean, look at the way it is, but it was self-balancing itself and autonomously just going places. It was amazing. It was beautiful, and as I observed, I was like, wow, what are these things? The engineer in me was just very curious. And at one point, I was thinking, wait a minute, I think these are being controlled by satellites. I was thinking that in the dream. And it was a very cloudy day somehow. The whole setting in the dream had a cloudy feeling to it. And there weren't people. That was one thing that was really noticeable. There weren't that many people. Okay? And I was wondering about the satellite communication with these things. And one thing in these kinds of dreams, prophetic dreams or dreams that God is showing you something, some of the things you think in the dream are part of the communication he's relaying to you. Okay? So after that, I crossed the road to what looked like a crossroads. And then it was like a next scene in the dream. And this time I saw what looked like an SUV. So I said, now I saw a human driving what looked like an SUV. He got to the crossroads and stopped for a while, contemplating whether or not to make a turn or continue on the main road. Now this thing looked like an SUV, but it was futuristic. That's the best way I can explain. In fact, it looked like the 2021 Ford Escape. I'm going to show a picture as you can see on the screen. But it wasn't a Ford Escape. It looked somewhat like that design, but had a futuristic feel to it. It had that vibe to it. That's the best way I can explain it. All right? And I thought in the dream that he was probably following after the gavel looking thing, that transporting like a utility transportation thing that I showed. I thought in there that he was somehow looking or running after it, and that he was probably its inventor. That's what I thought in the dream. So I believe it's part of the communication. Now, then I had a next scene in the dream. In the next scene, what's beautiful is, so I went into MKBHD's office. And now, if you don't know MKBHD, he's Marques Brownlee. He's a modern day renowned tech reviewer, okay, on YouTube. So I went into his studio in the future, so to speak, and I entered the studio. It had something like a vestibule, kind of a lot of glassy looking thing. And when I entered in, and then entered into a room in the studio, and so when he saw me, and he asked me if I saw the Mazda CXRS or something like that. That's what he asked me. Hey, he was like, hey, did you see that Mazda CXRS? He was saying it with an excited, feel. And he's a tech reviewer, so he was excited about this technology. He was referring to that vehicle that I saw. That was the only human controlled vehicle. Now remember, I felt in the dream that vehicle was autonomous, could drive itself, but also had the ability for the driver to drive it, okay, if you wanted to. Anyway, so he asked me that question, and that's how I knew the make the make, the the model, the make of that vehicle, because I didn't know what make it was. But then he told me by asking me that question in the dream. It was a Mazda CXRS. He said something like that. I may have gotten the numbers mixed up, but that's what he said. Anyway, so I believe that's part of the information. Now, in his studio, I also saw, something like sneakers that I felt had some technology in them. There were some fancy sneakers, like boots. Anyway, they were unique, they were futuristic looking, and had some technology in them. But anyway, and those things were in front of me, and those things were tempting me to jump into them to see what they could do. It was kind of funny and interesting. But anyway, so MKBHD, Marques Brownlee, was looking for something in the, he was looking for something, I'm not sure. But anyway, so I guess the point of this is somebody will say, why is God showing you future technology? I believe that there's something about God, God's story with the fact of his dealing with humanity is still continuing. He hasn't stopped dealing with humanity. He's still telling the story, and he's doing that by revealing bits and pieces to people here and there. There are many people to whom God is revealing things all over, and it's all part of the collective stories that he is telling humanity of his dealings with us. So I believe that these dreams and visions that people are having all over is because God is still continuing to tell the story. Now, why is he showing specific technology? I think he's saying basically that pay attention to the technologies that are coming in the future. That is what I believe he's saying in this, okay? Now, I saw many autonomous things, and there weren't that many human beings. I don't know why. But this probably tells me that all these cargo and all these things, with people who are driving, it looks like it will get to a point people will not be driving them anymore. Okay? Now, I think the point of him showing me this MKBHD guy in this dream is he telling me or specifying to us that pay attention to the technology that are coming. Pay attention, because this is a tech reviewer, remember? And he's saying pay attention. So I believe, look, if there's nothing to learn from this at all, I think and I believe that God is showing things and letting us know some of the things that come in the future, and wants us to watch and pray, just like Jesus said, watch and pray. Let's pray and align with what he's doing, so that we are not caught, unawares and surprised by what's going to happen in the future. I hope this blessed you, friends. I just thought God shares some of these things because not just for one person's consumption, but that we can share it. And as people pick up all the pieces from all sides, it becomes like a tapestry, in my view. That it becomes something that if you pick the different dreams from different people, you begin to see that he's telling a story. Okay, that's what I see. That's what I believe. Remember, the Bible was given by people. I mean, God gave it to people at different times in history, but it all weaves and comes together collectively to form a big picture. And I think he's still doing that by showing all these different dreams to different people. That is what he's doing. Well, I hope this blessed you. If you have any questions, feel free to share them. If you like this kind of content, hey, subscribe. Okay? Be blessed. Peace.